Was on a drunk driving crash that put 2 people in the hospital over the weekend, including a San Antonio police officer.
A new glitch in a capital murder trial being debated in a San Antonio courtroom. Could the Jimmy Tran trial end in a mistrial?
Live from KSAT12, the news at noon starts right now.
New at noon, some bad blood between a couple of brothers and a neighbor, putting an 18-year-old in handcuffs.
Nicolas Carmona was booked on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. This stems from a shooting back in September of last year. It's not clear where it happened. According to San Antonio police, Carmona and his brother were walking in front of the victim's house before verbally confronting him. All 3 started to argue, and that's when police say Carmona and his brother pulled out handguns and shot toward the victim. SAPD also charged Carmona with evading arrest and failure to identify.
Also new at noon, discussions underway that there may be a conflict of interest between a witness in the Jimmy Tran capital murder trial and the judge in that trial. Tran's defense attorneys suggesting that a mistrial may be needed after the witness on Friday spoke to the judge without a lawyer present. The judge has denied there was an issue, so the trial is proceeding today. Tran is on trial for the capital murder and robbery of 22-year-old Andres Salinas back in 2019, the result of an alleged drug deal. The lead detective was grilled in court this morning as to whether all of the evidence needed for a conviction was gathered. Coming up later today, why the defense of the case may still push forward with a formal mistrial motion.
Now to the latest in a suspected drunk driving crash that left a San Antonio police officer and a passenger hospitalized. The driver facing charges in the incident has been identified as 40-year-old Jaime de Luna. The crash happened just before 1 a.m. yesterday on Eisenhower Road and Loop 410. San Antonio police say De Luna was arrested for allegedly speeding when he hit the police unit from behind. He was taken to the hospital with his passenger, and upon his release, De Luna was charged with intoxication assault.
Taking a live look outside with live cam, it is gonna get so hot today. It's already 81 degrees.
Yes, and we have the moisture in place. So when you combine those 2 things together, it is going to feel very summer-like out there, especially as we head into the later portions of this afternoon. Now, this past weekend, we had drier air on Saturday, making it feel extremely comfortable out there. But yesterday, Gulf moisture surged back into the area. You can see dew points right now, how we measure all of that moisture here at the surface in the upper 60s and low 70s, very much in that muggy to even oppressive categories. You can feel it when you do step outdoors this lunchtime hour. Now, yes, actual temperatures warmer than average into this afternoon as well. Upper 70s, low 80s out there on the thermometers right now. 81 over at the airport, stretching up to Bulverde. 78 at Stinson, 83 in Pleasanton, at 79 right now over in Uvalde. Already starting to see the morning cloud cover break up just a little bit more, leading way to some peaks of sunshine. That's going to be the theme as we head into this afternoon, really helping those temperatures crank up. Here in San Antonio, we're expected to climb into the low to mid 90s, some upper 90s closing in potentially on the triple digits, certainly possible across our southwestern counties. Also will be a little breezy out there later today. Tomorrow, potentially challenging the existing record high for the day, but we do have some cooler air and better rain chances that move in by the second half of this week. We'll get you all those details and time it out coming up in just a few.
Thank you so much, Mia. This noon, we are still waiting to learn more about the cause of a fire on the northwest side that happened at a business overnight. It happened around 11 o'clock in the 100 block of Babcock, that is near Fredericksburg Road. Firefighters on the scene said that there were flames coming out of the building's attic. Those flames put out quickly. No one was hurt.
Trouble for your tires and a menace to drivers? We are talking about potholes. Last year, over 3,000 calls were made to the City of San Antonio's 311 hotline, and the Public Works Department continues to drive toward a solution. Stephen Cavazos shows us the pothole progress the city hopes to make.
We are here at the intersection of West Ashby and Breeding Place, and this is actually right in front of the San Antonio Public Theater. Potholes like what you're seeing behind me are roughly sized at 3 by 3 feet, and if they're not reported, they can grow into a much bigger problem. So the goal here is simple. You report it, they repair it, and that's the goal for the city's Public Works Department. Today marked the start of the 7th annual Pothole Bliss. Throughout the month of April, pothole patrol crews from the city's Public Works Department will be out in full force in an effort to repair more than 8,000 potholes for the month. Now, while these crews remain vigilant, they're asking for the community's help. Although thousands of potholes were repaired last year, only 4% of those repairs came from calls made to the city's 311 hotline.
Asphalt, cracks with time, and then water seeps through the cracks, and then undermines the base layer. When a car goes over it, it sinks and creates a pothole. We want to improve our participation from the community, and if our residents can report the potholes that they see, it will help us increase the number of potholes that we repair annually.
According to Public Works, San Antonio's hot weather combined with bouts of rain causes the expansion and contraction of the asphalt, and that's why we see potholes created here in our streets. Public Works urges residents to call 311, and potholes like this really take about 20 minutes to repair. So you report it, they will get that problem fixed for you. You can find more information on our website. That's at KSAT.com. Reporting, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
It will be Good Friday this Friday, and a San Antonio tradition is back at San Fernando Cathedral. Of course, it is the Passion Play. That event starting with a short prayer service followed by a procession from the park to San Fernando. This tradition marking the path that Jesus walked through Jerusalem while bearing his cross. As the rector of San Fernando has stated, people of all faiths come to visit and witness this amazing event.
The city of San Antonio is really a city of faith. And that is why we have people of all faiths that join us for this procession.
It is a very emotional act that takes place here. They are already practicing for it. That event starting at 9:30 in the morning at Milam Park. It's right across from Christus Santa Rosa Children's Hospital.
I had a chance to speak with a local mom on how her scholarship with United Way helped her and her family. We'll see how strong of an impact education can make in the lives of who take it.
The Spurs committing regicide in a recent game against Sacramento. Finally, our hometown team gets the win that's eluded them, and they stole a division clinch from the Sacramento Kings.
Your summer travel plans may be heating up, but they might need to cool off if you need a new passport. Why it could take longer to get one this year and how you can avoid derailing your plans. If you're looking to travel this summer, make sure to plan ahead, especially when it comes to your passports. The application backlog keeps growing.
ABC's Trevor Alt on how this could put travel plans for many people in jeopardy.
Millions of Americans hoping to travel abroad are instead stuck in limbo in a massive mounting backlog of passport applications.
I'm trying to contact everyone that I can to see if I can get an update with this passport, but as of now, there hasn't been much change.
Oscar Martinez applied to renew his 6-year-old son's passport in early February for a trip to visit family in Nicaragua. They were supposed to take off on Sunday, but even after paying a fee to expedite the process a few weeks ago, he says he received no updates.
I'm just checking the website every day, and then I'm just hoping that it gets approved within the next 2 days, and hopefully we can have this passport in hand.
That passport did not arrive on time, and Oscar had to cancel their trip. The State Department says the number of passport applications has exploded. In 2022, a record 22 million passports were processed, and they're on pace to break that record again in 2023. And that demand means extended wait times. And new applications will now take 10 to 13 weeks to get their passport processed. You can opt to expedite your application for $60. That drops the estimated wait time down to 7 to 9 weeks. But experts say it's worth it.
If you need your passport sooner than you had anticipated and you didn't apply for that expedited service, you can actually retroactively call the agency and see if you can get it expedited.
So if you want that summer getaway abroad and you need your passport renewed, you need to get on it now. Even with the expedited fee, you may not have your updated passport by the beginning of June.
So if you are thinking of traveling this year, I will say get it done now. Pay for expedite, pay for the 1 to 2 day shipping, and pray that it comes like in the next 2-3 months.
And of course, some countries require travelers' passports to be valid 3 to 6 months past their scheduled trip. So it's kind of a good idea to pretend your passport is expired 6 months before the actual expiration date and apply for that early renewal. You also, in an emergency, if you've got a trip scheduled in the next 2 weeks, you can try to get an appointment with the passport office and get an immediate renewal. That is not a guarantee. Trevor Ault, ABC News, LaGuardia Airport.
Summer's right around the corner, so this story is going to impact so many people.
I know. If you have plans, be careful. Also, be careful of the heat and humidity today.
Yes, probably.
It's going to be really hot in some spots.
Yes, it really is. And of course, with that humidity makes it feel even hotter. So if you are planning on spending time outdoors for extended periods of time, probably a good idea to take it easy and definitely stay hydrated. All right, look at the aquifer for this Monday. 0.3 of a foot down, 635.5. Look at our pollen count. Oak, unfortunately, in the very high category yet again. Molds, pecan, and grass all low. Some are like today, some are like tomorrow, but then a front sends changes and rain chances back into the forecast. We'll time all that out after the break.
The United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County, they do a lot of things in support of our community, but one of them helps parents get degrees and job training.
As part of our KSAT community initiative, we spoke to a local mom who says their scholarship has not only provided her with more opportunities, but her kids are also thriving and learning as well.
This scholarship made me grow, not only like as a mom in my education, but like as a woman too.
Zoe Alanese says her life changed after learning about a scholarship that provides childcare funds to parents.
At that time, I had just recently became a single mom of 2.
In 2020, she applied for the United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County scholarship that provides parents the opportunity to further their education.
So at that time, I was at San Antonio College and I was getting my associate's degree. And I was also working as a part-time server.
Casey McCormick with United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County says the scholarship covers an average of $14,000 in childcare expenses for scholars annually.
We're currently serving over 40 scholars, but most of them have multiple children.
To be eligible for the scholarship, you must be pursuing an associate or bachelor's degree for the first time or attending a workforce development training program. You must also demonstrate financial need and have completed a FAFSA application. Alanese was awarded the scholarship.
Maybe the next week after I got the scholarship, I put them into a school. I got my associates at San Antonio College. I actually did the dental assisting program there. And immediately after that, I started working as a dental assistant.
She is studying digital communications at UTSA and is a content creator for a web developer. Recently, she went with United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County to Austin to advocate for greater accessibility to affordable and quality childcare.
I will advocate for this cause for the rest of my life.
Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
Scholarship applications are open through the 24th. To find the full criteria list to apply for the scholarship and for more information, head over to KSAT.com. And you saw those smiles. That's what it's all about. Bringing the community together, having the kids smiling and thriving in school and learning.
And what a nice step up.
Amazing.
That was not there on its own. Mm-hmm. All right. The humidity and the heat was not there on Saturday, but we started to get a hint of things happening on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. We had south winds shift back in, and that essentially opened the door for that Gulf moisture to surge back into south central Texas. If you spent some time outdoors yesterday, you likely noticed those muggy conditions, and they are still with us this Monday. So the big kind of things to know, we've got a wild week in terms of weather. The temperature roller coaster continues. Summer like today, summer like tomorrow, highs climbing into the 90s both days, and it also is still going to be pretty humid there as well. But as we head into Wednesday, especially just before sunrise, that's when we're going to see our next cold front move in. Not only is that going to bring in some cooler air for the second half of the work week, but that also is going to set up a more favorable weather pattern for more promising rain chances, which we definitely need here in south central Texas. So we'll time all of it out. Starting off, though, with a look at temperatures in the cloud cover. It was cloudy out there this morning, even had some instances of patchy fog out there. That morning cloud cover continues to break up. We do have some high clouds that are streaming in from the southwest, so you can see temperatures are in the 80s already for most. 81 here in San Antonio this lunchtime hour, 83 in Pleasanton, Cotulla 87. So you'll be hitting 90 here pretty shortly. As far as for us here in San Antonio, partly cloudy skies expected into this afternoon. We've got a 10% chance for a very stray shower or maybe a very stray rumble, but confidence is pretty low on that into this afternoon. Again, temperatures climbing into the low to mid 90s here in town. And then if you're stepping out for any Monday evening plans, expect it to be pretty sticky out there with temperatures slowly making their way into the 80s and eventually into the 70s later tonight. But yes, expect a hotter than average afternoon. Take it easy if you are planning on being outside for a while. Daytime highs expected to climb into the 90s for most. And again, potentially closing in on that triple digit mark, especially across our far southwestern counties and closer to the Rio Grande. Something you also will likely notice, especially later this evening, south-southeast winds gusting upwards of about 20 to even 25 miles per hour at times. So it will be a little breezy out there to wrap up this Monday. Still a breeze as we head into Tuesday in spots. And yes, temperatures once again climbing into the low 90s here in town. We've got a forecast high around 92 tomorrow afternoon, and that could potentially come close to or challenge the existing record high of 93 for tomorrow. So we'll keep eyes on that. Then we see that front move in by midweek, and temperatures could be confined to the 60s Thursday and Friday, depending on those rain chances. So we'll look at that. Again, we are quiet for the most part here in south central Texas. It's a different story across portions of the deep south, where that rain that actually moved through the Metroplex in East Texas last night is filtering through. It's this area of low pressure off to the northwest, already sparking some activity across the Pacific Northwest. That's what's going to drag that front into our area early Wednesday. It'll be pretty windy there as well. And then as we see more moisture move in, we've got a 60 to even 70% chance for some rain Thursday and Friday. Fingers crossed, because we definitely could use it, guys.
Oh, yeah. Get it all out of the way before Fiesta, though.
There you go.
How's that? All right. This year's class of 2023 introducing its new members to the Hall of Fame. And some familiar faces made that cut. We're going to have the list coming up in sports.
The San Antonio Spurs played against the Sacramento Kings. Silver and Black able to pick up a win. A look at some of the highlights after the break.
It has finally happened. The Spurs winning their first game in weeks. They also dashed the hopes that the Sacramento Kings would wrap up their first division title in 20 years in front of their hometown fans. The Kings falling to the Spurs in overtime. Some Spurs players had a really good game in the process. Doug McDermott scoring 22 of his 30 points in the fourth quarter. And in overtime, Julian Champagne added a career-high 26 points. Trey Jones had 17 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds for San Antonio. How about that? And with that, the Silver and Black beat Sacramento with a final score of 142 to 134. The Spurs snapping a 6-game slide.
And the most important is we got a W. You know, I think that's what feels the best, because scoring all those points and losing the game doesn't feel too good. But definitely getting the W is what makes it a lot more sweet.
I think in those other overtime games, it's been, you know, close to, or if not double figures that they're putting up in that overtime, and it's pretty quick. And so tonight we were able to come out in overtime and string together some stops there that helped us get the win.
Come on, Trey, give it a little smile at least. Here's a look at the Spurs schedule this week. The team taking on Phoenix Suns tomorrow and the Portland Trail Blazers. But that game is in Austin on Thursday. And then this weekend, they're going to be playing the Timberwolves and Mavericks.
The Big Three and their head coach are now Hall of Famers. The Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame announced its 12 inductees for the class of 2023. Locally, the big names are Greg Popovich, Tony Parker, and WNBA great Becky Hammon. Among her many accolades, Becky is a 6-time WNBA All-Star and the first WNBA rookie head coach to capture a WNBA title. Parker is a 4-time NBA champion and 2007 Finals NBA MVP. Pop, of course, a 5-time NBA champ. And March Madness officially wraps up tonight with the men's national championship in Houston. The San Diego State University Aztecs take on the University of Connecticut Huskies for the national title. Tip-off is tonight at 8:20 at Houston's NRG Stadium.
And now the sports story that should have been our lead at noon, Robert, our producer. LSU's women's basketball team making history and taking home the NCAA women's title. That's the university's first national championship. The 3-seed Tigers were the underdogs, but they beat Iowa and took down Iowa's megastar Caitlin Clark. She scored 30 points, setting the record for the most points in an NCAA tournament, men's or women's. But it wasn't enough. The LSU offense was amazing, and the game itself, the highest scoring women's final ever, 102-85. That's amazing as well. It's also the first title for former Baylor coach Kim Mulkey since she left Baylor for LSU. This victory making Kim Mulkey the first women's coach to win national championships at 2 different schools.
So tell us how you really feel.
I'm a little excited.
Okay.
That's very nice.
A very exciting game
for Kim too, because there were a lot of doubts, a lot of questions.
But she proved everybody.
She certainly did. Doctors from the U.S. and Canada visiting Ukraine to help those affected by the war. How they're helping people regain a sense of normalcy.
And New York City is preparing for former President Trump's arrival. A look at the protective measures they're setting up ahead of possible protests. Security is on high alert in New York City as it prepares for former President Donald Trump's arrival. ABC's Morgan Norwood with how the New York City Police Department is bracing for possible protests.
This afternoon, former President Donald Trump expected to arrive in New York City ahead of that historic arraignment on criminal charges. Sources tell ABC News the former president faces about 24 charges, including felonies. A grand jury voted to indict him after the previous and current Manhattan district attorney's offices investigated how Trump accounted for $130,000 in hush money payments to porn actress Stormy Daniels. Trump is expected to head to New York State Supreme Court from his Fifth Avenue apartment. His movements coordinated by the Secret Service and NYPD. We're told Trump will not be handcuffed, and to reduce foot traffic in the area, there will be no other court cases on the 15th floor where Trump will be arraigned. His attorney says the former president plans to plead not guilty.
He's gearing up for a battle. This is something that obviously we believe is a political persecution, and he's someone who's going to be ready for this fight. We're ready for this fight, and I look forward to moving this thing along as quickly as possible to exonerate him.
Trump denies any wrongdoing. After blasting DA Alvin Bragg, Trump now turning his focus to the presiding judge, Juan Merchan. Merchan also oversaw the Manhattan DA's case last year against the Trump Organization, where a jury found the company guilty of tax fraud. Trump claims Merchan hates him and railroaded the company's chief financial officer into pleading guilty. Trump's scathing comments about the trial judge and District Attorney Bragg led to this warning from the former Manhattan DA who started the hush money investigation.
I was disturbed to hear the former president speak in the way he spoke about the District Attorney Bragg and even the trial court. I would be mindful of not committing some other criminal offense like obstruction of governmental administration, which is interfering with or by threat or otherwise the operation of government.
As Donald Trump prepares for his arraignment in New York, the Justice Department reportedly pushing ahead with an obstruction of justice case against the former president related to his alleged mishandling of classified documents. Now, Trump's hostile rhetoric about the judge, the prosecutor, and even the case itself has police here in the city on high alert. Come tomorrow, this entire area will be blocked off with more than 30,000 officers across the city bracing for potential protest. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
The saying that war is hell may be a century or more old, but today in Ukraine it is still holding true. Thousands of Ukrainians maimed and disfigured from Russian bombings, now seeking help from doctors. We do have a word of warning to our audience that the images in this story may be a bit hard to watch. Face the Future mission is a medical team of professionals who work to make scarred and injured soldiers and civilians whole again. Injuries from bomb blasts are often devastating, and although doctors try to reconstruct and repair the bone and skin, sometimes they can't. Doctors say in this program, the inner scars need help too.
And it's a psychological help, not just for the patient, but also for their family.
The medical team includes highly specialized plastic surgeons, anesthesiologists, and nurses, and they are from the U.S. and Canada.
4 major gun reform bills could soon be law in Colorado. The state's House of Representatives worked over the weekend to advance the legislation.
But there's one notable omission. Brandon Richard tells us how the words ban on assault weapons is not in these gun control bills.
The largest package of gun reform bills in a decade may soon be headed to the governor's desk. This week, lawmakers could take final votes on amendments to the bills, which passed both chambers after tense debate. The bills remove legal protections from gun makers, expand the state's red flag law, require a 3-day waiting period, and raise the minimum age to buy a gun to 21. Republican lawmakers criticized Democrats for limiting debate and accused them of attacking the Second Amendment.
It isn't defending guns, it's defending the ability to protect yourself, protect your family, and protect your country. When you pass legislation, it has farther reaching consequences than they see.
House Democratic leaders celebrated the passage of the bills.
With 40 days left in the session, it was a significant milestone to get through the bills that we did.
But the package of bills they passed does not include a bill banning so-called assault weapons. That bill, which is sponsored by Representative Elizabeth Epps and Senator Rhonda Fields, has yet to be heard in committee. A hearing was scheduled in the House Judiciary Committee last Wednesday, but was suddenly called off. House Speaker Julie McCluskey told me they wanted to focus on abortion bills instead.
It was a good decision to delay.
While many progressives have called for a ban on certain guns, it's unclear whether Colorado's Democratic leaders are willing to go there. The governor has repeatedly declined to endorse the bill when pressed by reporters, and neither Speaker McCluskey nor House Majority Leader Monica Duran would say if they supported the bill when I asked them about it.
I haven't read the bill, so I'd like to really kind of hear the bill and make sure it does what it's supposed to do, so I don't have a position yet.
That was Brandon Richard reporting. The assault weapons ban defines the guns by certain features and characteristics. And as of Sunday afternoon, the House Judiciary Committee had not yet rescheduled the hearing on the bill.
General Motors making some changes to their vehicles. They have decided to phase out widely used Apple CarPlay and Android audio systems for future electric vehicles. The current system allows users to mirror their smartphone screens on their dashboards, but the car maker is switching to a built-in infotainment center made by Google. We're going to see the first change when GM reveals their 2024 Chevrolet Blazer later on this year. Drivers are going to be able to access Google Maps and Google Assistant at no extra charge for 8 years.
And I look outside with live cam, 84 degrees. Well, it's shaping up to be a nice day, but it's still very humid. I'm trying to stay very positive.
Trying to stay optimistic over there, Tiffany. I appreciate that. I respect that. Yes, it is going to be very summer-like as we head into this afternoon. We do have some peaks of sunshine, so it looks really nice out there. Yes, it is going to be hot, though, especially by late afternoon as we see those temperatures climb into the 90s here in San Antonio. You can see those temperatures right now over at airfields here across Bexar County, upper 70s, low 80s, 81 over at SA International, 78 at Stinson, 83 at Kelly, and 81 over at Randolph there on the east side of the county. We've got the moisture in place. That's why it just feels so incredibly humid out there right now. And that humidity isn't going anywhere, at least for the next 36 hours. So we're going to hold on to those elevated dew points throughout the remainder of this Monday and into Tuesday before we see our next front move through. Now, temperature-wise, yes, we will top off in the low to mid 90s out there in and around the San Antonio area later on today. Still summer-like through tomorrow, but then here comes that next cold front that arrives early Wednesday. That will make for a cooler end to the week and also spark those better rain chances. We'll get you a look at the latest drought monitor and what we're expecting with those rain chances and how it could help out just a little bit coming up in a few, guys.
Thank you, Mia. Fox News' defamation case now headed to trial after all. What a Delaware judge says pushed them to make the decision and how top executives will be taking the stand.
Some states, including Texas, will start to change Medicaid coverage. Why there's concern that the quick changes could have negative effects.